Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Naresh Mago, and with me is Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates Census office at Amin in Kamroop district of Assam. Says stage set to conduct e-census in the country. Over 9,000 militants laid down arms and returned to the mainstream during the last 7 years in Assam, says Home Minister. Union government tells Supreme Court it is going to reconsider and re-examine provisions of Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code on sedition. Supreme Court refuses to entertain petition filed by Communist Party of India Marxist challenging the demolition drive initiated by South Delhi Municipal Corporation in Shaheen Bagh area of Delhi. Life Insurance Corporation of India's initial public offering receives healthy response from investors, subscribed 2.91 times when reports last came in. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resigns from his post after anti-government protests. Curfew imposed across the island nation. Cyclone Asani intensifies into severe cyclonic storm. Heavy rain likely to lash Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal from tomorrow. In Thomas Cup badminton tournament, Indian men's team registers second successive win to qualify for knockout round at Bangkok in Thailand. In World Boxing Championships, Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Lavlina Borgohain to kickstart India's campaign in Istanbul today. And in IPL, match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians underway at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy, Navi Mumbai. Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the Census office at Amin in Kamroop district of Assam this evening. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Shah expressed gratitude to all those who are involved in the census process. He said all the development work and planning are being carried out based on census. Mr. Shah further said the stage has been set to conduct the e-census in the country.
जनगणना आंकड़ों का एकमात्र स्रोत होता है। राज्य सरकार और केंद्र सरकार दोनों की नीतियों के नियोजन और निरूपण इसी के आधार पर किए जाते हैं। राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अभिकरणों, स्कॉलरों, व्यापारियों और उद्योगपति भी इसी के आधार पर भारत का आगे का विकास का नक्शे का परिचय लेते हैं। बार बार किए जाने वाले खर्चों से बचाने का भी जनगणना काम करती है। मित्रों, अनुभव सिद्ध डाटा के आधार पर जो निर्णय लिए जाते हैं वो निर्णय परिणाम लक्ष्य होते हैं और परिणामदायी भी होते हैं। उनका लक्ष्य परिणाम की ओर होता है और उसका फल परिणाम के रूप में आता है। इसलिए अनुभवी सिद्ध डाटा निर्मित हो, इसलिए इस बार हमने तय किया है कि आने वाली जनगणना जो अभी रुकी पड़ी है कोविड के कारण, वो जनगणना जब भी शुरू होगी वो ई जनगणना होगी, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जनगणना होगी और 100% परफेक्ट जनगणना होगी।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, Industry Minister Chandra Mohan Patwari and MP Queen Ooja, along with Registrar General and Census Commissioner Vivek Joshi were present on the occasion. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today said peace has been brought to Assam due to the efforts of the Narendra Modi government. He said over 9,000 militants have laid down arms and returned to the mainstream during the last 7 years. Mr. Shah was addressing a gathering after laying the foundation stone of the BSF's central store and workshop and also launched Khadi and Village Industries products at Tamulpur in Bodoland territorial region of Assam.
असम सरकार के चुनाव के वक्त हमने वादा किया था कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार अगर असम में बनती है तो असम की सीमाओं के बाहर ये आतंकवाद को हम असम के बाहर खदेड़ कर दम लेंगे। आज 7 साल के बाद मैं आया हूं। देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में असम के मुख्यमंत्री भाई हेमंत विश्व शर्मा जी के अथक प्रयासों के कारण भारत के गृह मंत्रालय ने एक कर असम के सारे हथियारी ग्रुपों के साथ समझौता कर आज असम के अंदर शांति की स्थापना करने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने किया है।
The Home Minister said the signing of the Bodo Accord was a landmark in bringing peace to the Bodoland area. He said 90% clauses of the accord have been fulfilled by the centre and Assam government. He reiterated the government's commitment for the overall development of the borderland areas. Mr. Shah said that the construction of the central store at Tamulpur would benefit the region and Central Armed Police forces deployed in the region. He added that it would also create employment in the region. On the other hand, the Home Minister mentioned that the KVIC has registered a turnover of over 1 lakh crore rupees in the country. He said that due to the initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there was an increase of 250% of sales in KVIC's products. He said that Khadi products would be made available phase-wise in security forces canteens across the country. He also asked KVIC to involve the farmers of Assam, particularly from borderland areas, in the honey mission.
The Union government today told the Supreme Court that it has decided to reconsider and re-examine the provisions of Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code on sedition. The government also urged the Apex Court not to take up the relevant petitions till the matter is examined. The Ministry of Home Affairs, in an affidavit, said the Prime Minister believes that at a time when the nation is marking the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav as a nation, it is essential to work harder to shed colonial baggage that passed its utility, which includes outdated colonial laws and practices. The top court is scheduled to hear petitions tomorrow filed by Major General S.G. Wombaktre, retired, and the Editors Guild of India and others, challenging the constitutional validity of Section 124A, which carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. The centre filed its response on these petitions. The Supreme Court today refused to entertain a petition filed by the Communist Party of India Marxist challenging the demolition drive initiated by the South Delhi Municipal Corporation in the Shaheen Bagh area of Delhi. A bench comprising Justices L. Nageshwar Rao and B.R. Gavai said that it cannot interfere at the behest of a political party. The bench asked the affected persons to approach the Delhi High Court. The bench also pulled up the civic body demanding why it doesn't undertake such activities with prior notice and by the letter of the law.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the Union government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is creating better opportunities for private industries, especially the MSMEs. She gave away the awards for the best performing startups in Coimbatore today. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said Prime Minister Modi has made economic reforms as the government's important policy initiative. Ms. Sitharaman attacked the Congress, saying it shackled the hands of the private industry by implementing the quota and license Raj. Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari has emphasized that proven technology, economic viability, availability of raw material and effective marketing are necessary for successful completion of any project. Inaugurating mobile cold mixer cum paver machine and patch fill machine developed for pothole repair by CSIR Central Road Research Institute in New Delhi today, he said the most important thing in the road sector is that the cost of construction has to be reduced and quality of construction has to be improved.
Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandviya has said that the government is working holistically in the health sector with synergy between preventive healthcare and modern medical facilities. Along with reducing the cost of treatment of the poor, efforts are also being made to rapidly increase the number of doctors. He was speaking at the inaugural function of the OPD and IPD blocks at Lady Hardinge Medical College and Associated Hospital in New Delhi today. The minister added that this year, when the country is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, there is a need to work together with the vision of how India's health infrastructure will be when completes 100 years of independence. Over 190 crore 34 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 13 lakh 50,000 doses were administered yesterday. The recovery rate is currently at 98.74%.
A delegation under the leadership of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Narendra Singh Tomar today visited Israel-based agriculture companies Green 2000, Agricultural Equipment and Know-How Limited and Netafim Limited. The minister discussed various issues with the related stakeholders in the areas of agriculture development. During the visit, the delegation interacted with the experts and resource persons of these companies on various developmental aspects related to modern agriculture practices. The focused areas for discussion during the visit included nursery practices, planting material of fruit trees and vineyards, post-harvest techniques, greenhouse cultivation, micro and smart irrigation system, and advanced dairy and poultry farming. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan today said that the government has given importance to all Indian languages, including Sanskrit, as envisaged in the National Education Policy. He said Sanskrit has a great contribution in unifying various Indian languages, and Sanskrit universities will move towards becoming large multidisciplinary institutions of higher learning. Mr. Pradhan was addressing the concluding ceremony of the 3-day Utkarsh Mahotsav organized by the Central Sanskrit University in New Delhi. Our correspondent reports that the objective behind organizing the Utkarsh Mahotsav was to promote the Sanskrit language across the country and beyond. The central theme was the new educational era, moving towards a global orientation of Sanskrit studies.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates Census office at Amin in Kamroop district of Assam. Says states set to conduct e-census in the country. Over 9,000 militants laid down arms and returned to mainstream during the last 7 years in Assam, says Home Minister. Union government tells Supreme Court it is going to reconsider and re-examine provisions of Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code on sedition. Supreme Court refuses to entertain petition filed by Communist Party of India Marxist challenging demolition drive initiated by South Delhi Municipal Corporation in Shaheen Bagh area of Delhi. Life Insurance Corporation of India's initial public offering receives healthy response from investors, subscribed 2.91 times when reports last came in. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resigns from his post after anti-government protests, curfew imposed across the island nation. Cyclone Asani intensifies into severe cyclonic storm, heavy rain likely to lash Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal from tomorrow. In Thomas Cup Badminton Tournament, Indian men's team registers second successive win to qualify for knockout round at Bangkok in Thailand. In World Boxing Championships, Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Lovlina Borgohain to kickstart India's campaign in Istanbul today. And an IPL match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians underway at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy, Navi Mumbai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? ऑल इंडिया रेडियो के प्रोग्राम अभ्यास में हमारे विशेषज्ञ आपके सवालों का देंगे जवाब। शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। इस बार का विषय है इंडियन हिस्ट्री। प्रश्न भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 11 मई। आप इससे जुड़े सवाल व्हाट्सएप करें 9289094044 पर या सवाल ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
In a major crackdown against criminal and terror activities, the National Investigation Agency NIA today conducted searches at a total of 29 places in Mumbai and its adjoining districts. According to an official press release, the searches were conducted at the premises of the suspected associates of fugitive terrorist Dawood Ibrahim like Haji Anis, Chota Shakil, Javed Patel and Tiger Memon. The NIA suspects that these D company members are actively collaborating with international terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Al-Qaeda and indulging in armed smuggling, narco-terrorism, money laundering and circulation of fake currency. The statement added that these people are also involved in raising terror funds via unauthorized possession or acquisition of key assets. During today's search, NIA has seized various incriminating materials, including electronic devices, documents of investments in real estate, cash and firearms. The agency has said that further investigation is still on in the case. It may be recalled that NIA had filed the FIR on the 3rd of February 2022 under various sections of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act dealing with criminal conspiracy and terror funding. The FIR had named Dawood Ibrahim and his associates whose premises were raided today. This is the same case under which Nationalist Congress Party's leader Nawab Malik was arrested on the 23rd of February on the charges of money laundering and terror funding. The Kerala High Court today upheld the conviction of Lashkar-e-Taiba operative Tadiyantavira Nasir and 9 others accused of recruiting youth from Kerala for terror camps in Jammu and Kashmir. A division bench comprising Justice K. Vinod Chandran and Justice C. Jayachandran acquitted 3 others in the case, M.H. Faisal, Umar Farooq and Muhammad Nawaz. The bench dismissed the plea filed by the accused who challenged the life imprisonment awarded by the NIA Special Court Ernakulam in 2013 in connection with the case.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember eminent freedom fighter Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who was born on the 9th of May, 1866. A moderate political leader and a social reformer, Gokhale was a senior leader of the Indian National Congress and the founder of the Servants of India Society.
Gokhale was famously a mentor to Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji recognized Gokhale as an admirable leader and master politician, describing him as pure as crystal, gentle as a lamb, brave as a lion, and chivalrous to a fault, and the most perfect man in the political field. Recalling his first meeting with Gokhale in Pune on October the 12th, 1896, Gandhiji wrote,
I met Gokhale. I found him on the Ferguson College grounds. Gopal Krishna Gokhale gave me an affectionate welcome, and his manner immediately won my heart. With him, this was my first meeting, and yet it seemed as though we were renewing an old friendship. So Firoz Shah had seemed to me like the Himalaya, the Lokmanya like the ocean, but Gokhale was as the Ganges. One could have a refreshing bath in the holy river. The Himalaya was unscalable, and one could not easily launch forth on the sea. But the Ganges invited one to its bosom. It was a joy to be on it with a boat and an oar. Gokhale closely examined me, as a schoolmaster would examine a candidate seeking admission to a school. He told me whom to approach and how to approach them. He asked to have a look at my speech. He assured me that he was always at my disposal and sent me away exultantly happy. In the sphere of politics, the place that Gokhale occupied in my heart during his lifetime, and occupies even now, was and is absolutely unique.
Gopal Krishna Gokhale died on the 19th of February, 1915. We salute this great nationalist.
We also remember activist for Indians in South Africa, Bhavani Dayal Sannyasi, who died on the 9th of May, 1950. He was the editor of various India-related newsletters such as The Pravasi, and collaborated with Mahatma Gandhi and represented the South African Indians at the Indian National Congress. He was also active in the Arya Samaj.
Bhavani Dayal came from a family that had moved from Ara district, Bihar, as indentured labourers to South Africa. His parents, Babu Jairam Singh and Mohini Devi, became free citizens in 1884 and settled in Johannesburg, where Dayal was born. Dayal joined Gandhiji in the passive resistance movement of 1913. In 1919, he represented the South African Indians at the Amritsar session of the Indian National Congress.
Dayal founded a journal called Hindi and protested a British plan in 1921 to repatriate Indians to British Guyana. Dayal founded a Pravasi Bhavan in his home village at Bahuara, Bihar, with a library and school in 1926-27. In 1930, he took part in the Salt Satyagraha in India, and on March 29th, he was booked for seditious speeches including those delivered by him in Fiji. In 1932, he went back to South Africa.
Bhavani Dayal continued to work for the betterment of people till his death in 1950. We salute the great patriot.
We remember independence activists Narayan Murmu, Baju Murmu and Baidyanath Tudu, who were arrested on the 9th of May 1943 for taking part in the Quit India movement. The three were residents of village Dumaria, Santhal Parganas, Jharkhand, and also took part in the Lathi Pahad agitation. They died during their internment. We salute the great martyrs.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
FSSAI has launched Food Safety Connect app for food business operators and consumers. Download this app from Google Play Store and easily apply for FSSAI registration. Consumer can use this app to register food-related complaints. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has conveyed greetings on the Golden Jubilee of Mizoram Legislative Assembly. To mark the Golden Jubilee of the State Legislative Assembly, a special assembly session of the Mizoram state will be held tomorrow. In his message sent on this occasion, the Lok Sabha Speaker appreciated the peaceful electoral process of Mizoram. He said Mizoram Legislative Assembly's graceful conduct of proceedings of the House presents as a role model for our democracy.
Union Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, today said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has played a pivotal role in popularizing yoga worldwide. He was participating in the Yoga Utsav program that was organized as a precursor to the International Yoga Day at Mamallapuram. The minister said yoga helps keep the health of both body and mind. Life Insurance Corporation of India's initial public offering IPO received a healthy response from investors as the offer was subscribed 2.91 times when reports last came in. The IPO will be available for public subscription till 7 p.m. today.
The Sensex and the Nifty today plunged more than 0.5%. Both indices declined amid negative global cues, a report from the business desk.
The Sensex tumbled 365 points to finish at 54,471, while the Nifty fell 109 points to end at 16,302. In the forex market, the rupee weakened 55 paise against the US dollar. Gold prices rose 375 rupees. The precious metal was trading at 51,275 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices also gained 220 rupees to 62,555 rupees per kilogram. Oil prices slipped. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading around $109.88 per barrel. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for AIR News.
Prasar Bharati's English news channel DD India has recently crossed 2 lakh subscribers on YouTube. In terms of TV reach, DD India is the #1 English news channel in the country. As per latest BARC data, DD India reached more than 8 million viewers, highest in the English news genre. The viewership for DD India has witnessed a consistent upward weekly growth, registering a whopping total growth of almost 150% over last 8 weeks. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resigned today from his post after anti-government protests across the island nation. Sri Lanka's Health Minister, Professor Channa Jayasumana, has also handed over his resignation letter to the President. These resignations came after violent clashes erupted in Colombo over the economic crisis in the country. Talking to All India Radio, former diplomat G. Parthasarathy said India offered the maximum assistance to Sri Lanka in the time of this crisis.
There is no money left even to buy medicines. And the important thing is that the persons who have offered the maximum assistance is India. And really, the total assistance, which if you add up everything that we have given, it amounts to $3 billion that we are providing to Sri Lanka, including credit facilities for food and medicine, including helping them with their payments. And therefore, this has been widely welcomed by the people of Sri Lanka. Now, the government is under protest. Daily we have demonstrations across the country. And the demand has grown for initially the resignation of both the President and Prime Minister. But now the focus is on the sort of resignation of the Prime Minister and appointing a new Prime Minister by consensus. And really, Prime Minister Modi, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar have played a sterling role in arranging this, for which every Sri Lankan says they are very grateful.
Veteran drag flicker Rupinder Pal Singh will lead India at the Asia Cup in Jakarta. The tournament, which will be held from 23rd May to 1st June, is a World Cup qualifier. Birendra Lakada has been named deputy to Rupinder for the tournament. Both Rupinder and Lakada had announced their retirement after the Tokyo Games last year, but made themselves available for selection later on. In Thomas Cup badminton tournaments, the Indian men's team has registered its second successive win with a 5-0 thrashing of Canada in a Group C fixture to qualify for the knockout round at Bangkok in Thailand. In the singles, World Championship silver medalist Kidambi Shrikant beat Brian Young, while H.S. Pranoy defeated B.R. Sankirth today. Priyanshu Rajawat beat Victor Lal in the third men's singles. The doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty defeated Jason Anthony Hoshu and Kevin Lee. The second doubles pair of India, Krishna Prasad Garaga and Vishnuvardhan Gaud Panjala, also defeated the Canadian duo of Dong Adam and Nail Yakura. The Indian men's team will play its final Group C match against Chinese Taipei on Wednesday. The Indian women's team had also begun its Uber Cup campaign on a resounding note with a 4-1 win against Canada yesterday. They will clash with the US tomorrow.
Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Lavlina Borgohain will kickstart India's campaign at IBA Women's World Boxing Championships in Istanbul today. The Indian pugilists were handed a mixed draw in the championships. Borgohain will be up against former world champion Chen Nianxin in her opening bout of 70 kg category. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders were 143 for 5 in 16 overs against Mumbai Indians at the Dr. D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai when reports last came in. Earlier, Mumbai Indians won the toss and chose to field first. The severe cyclonic storm Asani continues to move northwest-westwards towards the North Andhra Pradesh-Odisha coast. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted that it is likely to recurve and head north-northeastwards off the Andhra-Odisha coast from tomorrow evening.
The Met Department further says that Asani is likely to trigger rough wind in and around the coastal pockets of Odisha at a speed of around 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour on the 11th and 12th of this month. It will also cause light to moderate rains in many areas of the coastal district, with heavy to very heavy spells at isolated places over the coastal region of the state. The state administration has positioned rescue teams in the areas likely to be lashed with cyclone-induced rains in the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, in a dramatic turn of events ahead of the cyclonic storm drawing closer towards the Odisha coast, a helicopter of the Indian Coast Guard rescued 11 fishermen of the Ganjam district of the state stuck in the turbulent waters of the Bay of Bengal near the Odisha coast earlier in the evening today. Girish Chandradal, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Now let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky with minimum and maximum at 41 and 28 degrees. Mumbai will have a cloudy sky, temperatures that hover between 28 and 33 degrees. Chennai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain, and Kolkata is likely to have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates Census office at Amin in Kamroop district of Assam, says state set to conduct e-census in the country. Over 9,000 militants laid down arms and returned to mainstream during the last 7 years in Assam, says Home Minister. The Union Government tells Supreme Court it is going to reconsider and re-examine provisions of Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code on sedition. Supreme Court refuses to entertain petition filed by Communist Party of India Marxist challenging demolition drive initiated by South Delhi Municipal Corporation in Shaheen Bagh area of Delhi. Life Insurance Corporation of India's initial public offering receives healthy response from investors. Subscribed 2.91 times when reports last came in. Sri Lankan Prime Minister resigns from his post after anti-government protests, curfew imposed across the island nation. Cyclone Asani intensifies into severe cyclonic storm, heavy rain likely to slash Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal from tomorrow. In Thomas Cup badminton tournament, Indians men's team registers second successive win to qualify for knockout round in Bangkok in Thailand. And in IPL, match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians underway in Navi Mumbai. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.